week, at least 30 people have died in severe flooding on the outskirts of Beijing. The worst hit areas have been in the mountains near the Chinese capital.
A massive sinkhole swallows several buildings in China.
At least 6 people have been killed and more than a dozen others injured when a bus and pedestrians fell into a sinkhole in China. Security vision shows the moment people waiting at a bus stop try to jump out of the way as the ground begins to cave in.
China is drowning from below, not from typhoons, not from river floods, by the ground collapsing beneath the world's most expensive construction program. Right now, nearly half of China's major cities are sinking at more than 3 millimeters per year, not 3 millimeters total, per year. Satellite data from 82 major Chinese cities confirmed it between 2015 and 2022. 270 million people, nearly 1/3 of China's urban population, are living on land that is actively subsiding. 67 million people are experiencing rapid subsidence exceeding 10 millimeters annually. And while the ocean rises to meet them from one direction, China announced in 2025 its latest infrastructure budget, $815 billion annually, projected to exceed $1.1 trillion by 2030. The same infrastructure being built on land that is disappearing into the sea. Before we break down exactly which trillion-dollar cities are collapsing, why the subsidence is irreversible, what happens when you stack the world's heaviest skylines on sediment that won't hold them, and why China's coastal defense spending can't save megacities already below the waterline, make sure you subscribe. Because what is happening to China right now is not a construction problem. It is a geological catastrophe meeting the largest urbanization experiment in human history at the worst possible moment. First, understand the numbers that satellite data revealed about China's subsidence emergency, because the scale is staggering. A landmark 2024 study published in Science analyzed radar satellite imagery across 82 major Chinese cities from 2015 to 2022. What researchers found should have triggered international alarm across every financial capital watching China's economy. 45% of China's urban areas are subsiding faster than 3 millimeters per year. 16% are experiencing rapid subsidence exceeding 10 millimeters annually. That's an area affecting 29% of the urban population at moderate rates, and 7% experiencing rapid collapse. Shanghai, parts of which have subsided up to 3 meters since 1921, continues sinking up to 10 millimeters per year in certain districts. Beijing has experienced cumulative subsidence up to 1.5 meters in some areas, with certain districts still sinking up to 11 centimeters annually. Tianjin has seen total subsidence up to 3.5 meters, with areas continuing to drop 5 to 7 centimeters per year. And the most alarming projection, by 2120, 22 to 26% of China's coastal land will sit below sea level because of the combined effect of subsidence and rising oceans. That's 9 to 11% of the coastal population, tens of millions of people, living on land that will be underwater. Not at risk of flooding, permanently submerged. The subsidence isn't slowing. The ground won't bounce back. The aquifers beneath China's megacities are being crushed under the weight of concrete and steel, compacting permanently as groundwater is extracted faster than geology can replace it. This is the vertical picture. Now shift to where it collides with the horizontal, the coastline where land sinks as oceans rise. China's coast is not a remote frontier. It is the country's economic core. The Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei region, the Yangtze River Delta, and the Pearl River Delta, China's 3 major economic engines, collectively house approximately 126 million people living on low-lying, vulnerable land. These are not rural fishing villages. They are the manufacturing heartlands that supply global commerce. Shanghai, population 26 million, the world's busiest container port, China's financial nucleus, sits in a river delta built on thick, soft sediment, naturally prone to sinking. Flood risks in Shanghai could expand by up to 80% by 2100 when considering the compounding effects of climate change, sea level rise, and land subsidence. The city's seawalls were designed to withstand flood risks occurring once every 200 years. But as seas rise and land sinks, those once-in-2 centuries events will occur once every 30 or even 20 years in the second half of this century. Tianjin, the main port for Beijing, home to 285 Fortune 500 companies and 15 million inhabitants, has coastal walls that cannot withstand a 1 in 100-year storm surge. By 2030, floods could submerge over 3,000 square kilometers of the city's 11,000 square kilometer area. The city already faces combined subsidence and sea level rise that could reach 1 meter by 2120. Guangzhou, Shenzhen, and the Pearl River Delta, the urban manufacturing belt that feeds the global supply chain, are among the cities projected to suffer the highest economic losses from flooding by 2050. The Pearl River Delta could experience relative sea level rise up to 1.7 meters by 2120 when subsidence and ocean rise are combined. All of it built on sediment, all of it collapsing, all of it being squeezed from above and below simultaneously. Here is where the story becomes almost incomprehensible in its irony. China's response to this compound catastrophe, the sinking cities, the advancing seas, the crumbling aquifers, is to build harder, bigger, faster, to stack more concrete on ground that won't hold it, to construct the most expensive urban infrastructure program in human history on top of geological conditions that guarantee failure. China's infrastructure construction market reached $815 billion in 2025 and is forecast to hit $1.11 trillion by 2030. Since 2010, China has spent over $15 trillion on infrastructure: railways, highways, ports, airports, urban development. That's more than the United States and European Union combined. China has over 50% of the world's 100 tallest buildings, many concentrated in sinking cities like Shanghai and Guangzhou. The weight of these skyscrapers, combined with the groundwater extraction needed to construct and operate them, accelerates the very subsidence that threatens them. The soil compacts under pressure, the aquifers collapse, the land descends. In 2024, China authorized $4.4 trillion yuan in special purpose bonds for infrastructure and debt relief, up from $3.9 trillion in 2023. Over $4 trillion yuan will be invested over the next 5 years just in underground urban pipeline upgrades, water, gas, drainage systems. Rail fixed asset investments exceeded $111 billion in 2024 and will remain above $80 billion through 2025. The scale is extraordinary. But the geology doesn't negotiate. The third dimension of this crisis, and the one with the most immediate economic consequences, is what happens when you realize the defenses won't hold. Shanghai invested $7.7 million per kilometer to build its 510-kilometer seawall network, but upgrading seawalls is exponentially more expensive as height increases. The price for constructing a 2-meter-high seawall, compared with a 1-meter-high one, is not double, but tenfold, according to Gao Shu, director of the State Key Laboratory of Estuarine and Coastal Research at Shanghai's East China Normal University. China issued a coastal seawall construction plan in 2017, aiming to expand seawalls to 15,000 kilometers by 2027, with 57% meeting proper standards, up from 14,500 kilometers and 42.5% in 2017. But by the end of 2015, flood defenses in most rural coastal regions were designed to withstand extreme weather occurring only once every 20 years. The defenses were built for yesterday's sea levels. They cannot handle tomorrow's. And here's the catastrophic failure risk that urban planners are not accounting for. Relying on single-line defenses creates vulnerability to total collapse. As occurred in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina in 2005, when sea defenses sink alongside the land they're meant to protect, breaches become catastrophic. Researchers warn Shanghai and other Delta cities need layered rather than single line of defense strategies. That danger is not yet fully appreciated. Meanwhile, the flooding has already begun. In 2024, China recorded the highest number of floods since 1998, when detailed statistics began. Around 26 floods occurred in major rivers, affecting over 84 million people with 836 deaths reported. Zhengzhou in 2024 was underwater again, 3 years after the 2021 flash floods that killed 300 people. For over 3 hours, 9.21 inches of rain fell on this city of 13 million. In Guangdong province in 2024, Flooding threatened over 127 million residents as rivers reached heights with a 1 in 50 chance of occurring annually. Meizhou saw 48 people die after an expressway collapsed. In July 2025, Beijing and surrounding provinces received approximately 40% of Beijing's annual average rainfall in 6 days, 165.9 millimeters citywide, 543.4 millimeters in Miyun. The Miyun Reservoir recorded its largest inflow since 1959. 34 people died. From 2005 to 2015, more than 200 storm surges hit China, with frequency and intensity increasing as a result of climate change. And the projections show it getting exponentially worse. Inundated urban land areas in China's 7 major urban agglomerations are projected to be 4 to 19 times larger in the future than at present. Without adaptation, annual flood damages in Shanghai could increase by 167%, and annual casualties could rise 45 to 97 times by 2100. Let's state the compound crisis plainly. China sits at the intersection of 5 simultaneous catastrophes converging on its coastal megacities. Land is sinking, actively, measurably, in many cases, irreversibly, driven by decades of pumping groundwater from aquifers that compact permanently under the weight of urbanization. The ocean is rising at an average rate of 1.5 millimeters per year since 1900, the fastest in at least 4,000 years, with shallow seas like those around China responding faster and more dramatically than deep oceans. Infrastructure is failing. $1 trillion in annual spending cannot stabilize land that won't hold buildings or seawalls designed for yesterday's water levels facing tomorrow's storms. Extreme weather is intensifying. Typhoons, storm surges, and catastrophic rainfall events breaking records each year as climate patterns shift. And the economic model is trapped. China cannot stop building because growth depends on infrastructure investment. But every new skyscraper accelerates the subsidence beneath it. Urban planners call it a positive feedback loop. In practice, it's a death spiral. The geology underneath China's wealthiest cities is not a renewable resource. Once aquifers compact, they don't reinflate. Once sediment compresses under building weight, it doesn't expand. Shanghai took steps to slow subsidence by regulating groundwater use and re-injecting water into aquifers. Shanghai now is not sinking that fast anymore, researchers note, but slowing is not stopping. And most cities haven't implemented these controls. Beijing has experienced groundwater level drops up to 100 meters in some areas, with up to 70% of land subsidence caused by over-extraction. The aquifer won't recover within any time frame relevant to the cities built on top of it. China's megacities are not in danger of flooding. They are flooding now at an accelerating rate, while continuing to sink into ground that cannot support what has been built on it. The trillion-dollar infrastructure program is constructing monuments to a geological reality that doesn't care about GDP targets. By 2050, land now home to 93 million people in China could be at risk of annual coastal flooding. By 2100, areas now home to 200 million people could fall permanently below the high tide line. The answer China keeps giving is more concrete, more steel, higher walls, bigger pumps, as if enough money can reverse gravity and geology. It can't. Stay tuned.